Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Africa, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. America, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okello, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.
Greetings, beautiful people. My name is Simon Javan Okello. I am in Seattle, Washington, and I'm so excited to be here with you for another session of the Daily African Proverbs here on Clubhouse. We are also live streaming on YouTube, and I have a really special guest today. Lexi Malone is my special guest. We will be joined later on by some of the moderators of the Daily African Proverbs. But whenever we gather here in the Daily African Proverbs, we share new proverbs every day and we learn from them. Our hope and my hope is that by the end of our conversation, we leave with some African wisdom so that we approach our day with, more confidence and just something fresh. That is really, these are not new proverbs. These are things that our ancestors shared. My mother used proverbs, in helping me become who I am today. I learned from my grandmother, my grandfather, and I use them now as I am a father now myself. So for those who are joining us on YouTube, thank you so much. I quickly actually want to introduce Lexi Malone in a moment, but I want to share with you the proverb for the day. The proverb for the day is actually also the latest Instagram post. You can get to my Instagram profile by tapping on my picture and going all the way, if you're on Clubhouse, to the bottom, and you'll be able to get the link to my Instagram where you can directly respond. You can comment there, and later on after today's conversation I will be able to get back with you. But really, this is a place that I always enjoy being in, and today we are on a journey to Mozambique. The flag you see at the top of the room on Clubhouse is the flag of Mozambique, which is a country in East Africa. It's more of Southern Africa, and the capital is called Maputo. You should research them. Just research Mozambique and learn a little more. There's a certain amount of instability right now in Mozambique, especially because there's a group that is very similar to Al-Shabaab, which is in Somalia, and these other Islamist groups that is taking a lot of space in the northern part of Mozambique. So like the Rwandan soldiers have been sent there. A number of African countries have sent their soldiers to Mozambique. Just a little story to take you on a virtual tour of Mozambique. But the proverb is, the bee is the doctor of flowers. The bee is the doctor of flowers. And today I have a special guest. Lexi Malone is with me right here on YouTube, actually live, so that everyone who is on YouTube can see her. Lexi is going to introduce herself in just a second. By the way, if you're joining us on YouTube, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel so that when we do these conversations, you'd be amongst the first people to be notified. Lexi is a voiceover artist by choice. And you're doing a lot of amazing things. You're a dress for less guru. You're a queen of forgiveness. You do so much. You're a motivational speaker as well, and you avidly read, and you have a need to read. I don't know. I just want to learn so much about you, and this is part of why I chose this morning, based on also how you shared with us yesterday, how you are inspired to own and to take ownership of your own story and begin sharing, with your voice, the way that you feel driven to do. So I want you to take us back, though. First, introduce yourself briefly, because I don't think I completed everything appropriately. But I just want you to take us on a journey, your childhood, journey when you were little, 8 to 12 years old, dreaming. That's when we all felt like everything was possible. And how those years have influenced who you are today.
Absolutely. So, as a child, and one of my main passions is to read. I just love to read. I always have since I was a little girl. I mean, I started reading novels when I was probably about 6 or 7. I started to read like chapter books, and like my grandmother used to give them to me, and I just always loved to read. It just always took me to another place where I could imagine and just really paint the picture in my own head about what I was reading, and I just always loved to read. So, as a child and growing up in America in the 80s and 90s, I'm not going to say that I had a perfect childhood or life or anything like that. Obviously, there were obstacles with growing up Black in America. There were definitely obstacles where I felt like I had to anyway, choose a side, because we went to like a Catholic school when we were younger. So I was taught to speak properly, but I was from the hood. So it was like I had to choose a side. When I was at home, I had to like talk like I normally knew how to talk. And then when I got to school, it was like that wasn't okay. So I had to switch over. So there were a lot of different little obstacles like that and trials and tribulations that you get through. But in all, I looked at everything from a positive perspective, because everything that I went through in life put me in a position to be exactly who I am, the giver that I am. And as you can see, I'm lady with the sunshine smile. It doesn't matter what I go through. It doesn't matter what happens in life. I'm always going to keep this smile on my face, because from what I hear, people always come up to me, strangers, and say, your smile is so beautiful. And I'm just like, oh, thanks, and half the time I'm just like smiling for nothing, just to keep from crying. Sometimes I'm smiling. So it's like, sometimes that's what you have to do. Sometimes you may be feeling down, and that's my advice to the world. If you get up in a bad mood, if you feel any kind of something that's been hankering on you, or you feel anything that has been happening in your life and you're just down, put a smile on your face. It will change the way you feel almost instantly. Even if you have to force it, you'll even laugh at yourself, because I find myself doing that. Like, I'll just wake up and be like right on the wrong side of the bed. Sometimes it happens. It happens. You wake up on the wrong side of the bed. So sometimes when that happens to me, I will force myself to smile. And when I smile, it automatically induces me to start thinking about things that make me smile. So when I do that, I'm like, I'll start bagging up at myself, like, what are you? You are crazy, girl. But at least it got me out of that way. Even though I'm thinking about little silly things about myself and laughing at myself, I bet you I'm not feeling down no more. I bet you I'm uplifted now. I bet you I'm motivated and ready to go. Let's do this. Kill that negative energy in life. So that's what I've learned. I've went through a lot in life. It is what it is. I don't hold on to it. And actually, I wrote a poem that is like really, really awesome. I'll read that to you at some point in this interview, but it is a very, very nice poem. And that is what I live by now. So we'll probably get a chance to share that later if Simon lets me.
Wow, wow, wow. I just feel so energized right now. I just feel that, you're just you speaking. Even if you are not saying anything meaningful, I have to pay attention. And to get my attention is not easy. But that's part of why we are here. That's part of you got my attention the first time you spoke. You got my attention the second time you spoke. This is the third time we are speaking ever, and we're having an interview. So, you definitely understand the power of happiness and the power of joy and how infectious it can be, because if you are light, people want to be around light, especially in times like this, people want to be around light, so I think it's a perfect segue for that poem that you wanted to talk about. Let's enjoy that poem and then go back to maybe one or two more questions, and then open the stage for everyone who has joined us for today's daily African proverbs, so that we can hear interpretations of the proverb. To everyone who has joined us on Clubhouse, we're having a really special guest, Lexi Malone, who is an amazing, multi-talented leader. And, Lexi and I are live on YouTube. So if you want to see our faces, you can join us over there. And Lexi was just sharing with us, just amazing stories about her childhood and how that contributed to who she is now. And, she just moved us by her share of why it's important to always keep a smile. And now we want to go into a poem, but I want to encourage you, if you're on in Clubhouse, I want to encourage you to ping in a few people that you believe need to be in this room for this wonderful conversation. But we are here around an African proverb that is also on my Instagram profile. The proverb is from Mozambique. It says, "The bee is the doctor of flowers." So in 15 minutes, we will open the floor so that you can all share your interpretation of that proverb. But Lexi is going to share with us after this poem why this proverb is aligned to, who she is and the work that she does. So thank you again for being here. Lexi, I'll pass you the mic.
Thank you. So thank you so much, Simon, for allowing me to read my poem. It means a lot. I wrote it a few years ago, but it really does hold a special place in my heart because I write from the heart. But here goes. It's called In This House by Lexi Malone. In this house, there is no mess, no gossiping, nothing negative, and definitely no stress. Never mind what happened in the past. Putting focus there only makes it last. In this house, we only dream. It's why we make the perfect team. Only speak of all the good to come. Move to the beat of our own drums. In this house, it's just like me. We practice the dreams we desire to be. Now in this house, the things you see are all the dreams that were in me. That's it.
Wow. Now in this house, all the things you see are all the dreams that were in me.
That's right. I'm going to elaborate on that because
But can I say
the
something
proverb,
before?
sure,
This sounds like a manifestation ending of the poem, right?
that is what it is.
Talk
That's
about it.
why it correlates with the proverb today. That's why I read it because it correlates directly with how I feel about the proverb today.
Okay, now talk about it and talk about the proverb today then.
Okay. So what I got as soon as I seen your proverb, when you sent it to me, I got excited. I was like, the bee is the flower of the doctor. If anyone knows what the bee does for the flower, it will for me, it immediately woke me up because I'm like, the bee allows the flower to survive and exist. If a bee stops helping a flower to pollinate, the flower ceases to exist. So, guess what? To me, that opened my eyes and realized that we are also the doctors of our passion. We are the doctors of our purpose. Everyone in this world has a purpose, whether they know it or not, or whether they live it or not. You have a purpose. Learn how to doctor that purpose like the bee doctors the flowers. You think the bee even realizes or cares that we give it gratification for doing what it does for the flowers? The bee does not care. The bee is living its purpose. The bee is living its dream. It loves to help those flowers pollinate. It loves it. So when you doing what you love, when you the doctor of what you love, you won't notice. You do it because you love it. Just like I love to inspire. I love to motivate. I love to reach for people's hands, but touch their heart. That's what I like to do. I just love that. And I repeat it. I love to reach for people's hand, but touch them right here in the heart. That's what I love to do. So I do it. And people, just like Simon said, are drawn to me just because I just like to speak good and positive into people. Sometimes I hear somebody say something about their self. I'm a person that I am always accountable for what I say and do. So when you're accountable, that's part of living your purpose. That's part of being happy because I know that with me being accountable, I know that I have a choice each and every day. I choose to be happy. It's not something that I just wake up feeling every day. Sometimes everybody gets annoyed. Everybody gets angry. Everybody feels sadness. But guess what? That's all a choice. You choose to feel sad. You choose to feel angry. You can easily feel those feelings and change them because that's what purpose does. That's what living intentionally does. When that bee is going, you think bees don't have a bad day where they say, I don't feel like landing on in a rose today. I don't feel like no roses today. That's a choice that be made, and they may feel like I want to land on a dandelion, something that don't nobody like. Because how do we think dandelions and weeds spread? Those dandelion is a flower. I've seen many bees land on dandelions. How you think they still existed? Okay, so that is a true metaphor of purpose about what we have, our own personal gifts. Some bees choose to spread weeds, while others choose to spread roses. What you gonna choose to doctor on? Simon, that is my perspective on the on the actual proverb. But if you notice what I said in my poem, all the dreams that were in me. So if I'm a bee and I'm picking my dreams and saying, hey, I want to land in roses every day. I want to land and pollinate roses all day, every day. That's what my life is going to be filled with, roses. But if I'm a bee and some days I'm feeling bad and I want to go spread some dandelions around, I know people don't like these, I'm going to spread them around. That's a choice that bee made. That's what their purpose is. And I can live and learn from anybody's purpose. It's perspective and purpose. So that's my take on the proverb today. I loved it. Automatically made me think of purpose, Simon.
Wow, I can't. When I see you smile, I have to smile. Like, I feel like it's a command you're giving everybody you interact with, that smile before you talk to me. So it's good. It's good. You're playing a very important role that is visible, and just your interpretation of today's proverb was just so profound. Thank you so much. Now I want you to just talk to me a little bit about why it's important to always be your own advocate, and also, in the Daily African Proverbs, I love, my podcast is called the African Father in America podcast. So I love creating opportunities for amazing leaders like you to also speak directly to African fathers, especially young ones who have little children that they're raising. If you had a microphone that reached each one of them, what would you tell them? Let's talk about that first.
Absolutely. And thank you for that. Because for me, and like I had said originally, I did grow up Black in America. So I know what we are challenged with um, socially. And with that being said, we are held to a different standard, okay? One that a lot of people don't see or necessarily even consider as a standard, but we are. We are put in a position to constantly wear a mask. Come out and show what somebody taught you how to be. So come out and show what somebody expect of you. Come out and show what the world expects you to do. Basically be the definition that has been placed on you. I feel like a lot of men are a clear definition of what they think they should be based on life experience, what they've gone through, what they've been, their background, environment, all of that plays a part. And sometimes we don't take that into consideration when we meet new people and things like that. We don't consider that, but I always consider that. I'm the type of person that speaks to the janitors. I'm the type of person that talk to the trash man. I'm the type of person that speak to bums on the street. You know why? Because everybody got a purpose. I've talked to bums on the street that are professors, that used to be college professors. You don't know who people are, and got some wisdom from them. So when you are a person that's already marginalized, stigmatized, defined, you're automatically going to walk out there with a mask on. Keep your mask off, is what I say, because your uniqueness, what makes you who you are, is the power to change the world. That's your power to change the world, not being what somebody else expects you to be, not being what even some of your environment or background or your teachings, whatever you've learned in life. If it taught you to put a mask on, get rid of that. You don't need something that makes you feel like you have to go out into the world with a mask on. And a lot of people that I've come into contact with and spoke with feel like they have to have a mask on out here in this world to be accepted, to be relevant, to be considered. People feel like they have to wear a mask. Not just men, but I think that it's that men really take the brunt because they're not allowed to cry. Men ain't allowed to do nothing. You hear me? I just be looking like, since when does a man not supposed to have feelings? It angers me because I got 3 sons. My babies can cry all the way up until the day they die. So that's where I'm at. And that's my message, Simon, is that people have got to take those stigmas away from what it is to be a man and let men be men. Let them be who they are and live their purpose and their dream, because everybody's is different and unique for a reason. We all have something to give to this world.
Yeah, we all have something to give to this world. In 4 minutes, we will be inviting, all of you, our amazing friends who are already on stage, to share with us your interpretation for the proverb for the day. The proverb for today is, the bee is the doctor of flowers. And I'm here with Lexi Malone, who is sharing with us her wonderful story, and also how her story is aligned with today's African proverb from Mozambique. I'm so excited to see you here, my brother the Kikombe, joining us all the way from Thailand. I know you're on listening mode, but if you want to speak later on, just tap your mic and I'll be able to bring you up on, I'll pass you the mic. And then we have Bibi, we have Teoti, we have Tutaleni, Dr. Wanda. Thank you all for being here. And also in the audience, we have really, really amazing people here on the Clubhouse platform. First, I see Tara, Hayden, Roger, Dilo, Jay Naidu. Thank you for being here, Jay, and Azita, Joanne, and Cindy. Thank you so much for being here. And then Matthew has been here with us for really the last few minutes. Thank you, Matthew. and this is not the first time you're here, and it means a lot. Maria, Tunji, thank you for being here. Lynn, Samuel, Kaino, and Torrance. I'm just so grateful that you've chosen to spend your morning with us. We do this every single day, and our goal is to make our ancestors smile and to continue being wiser by sharing an African proverb every day, and also applying these conversations in our lives, in our places of work, in policy making, and ensuring that we are really part of the change that we also learn through African wisdom. So now I want to ask Lexi, just the final question. When you think about a platform like Clubhouse, now we have Twitter Spaces, we have social audio blowing up, and as African people or people of African descent, we are very gifted when it comes to oral storytelling, and that's how most of our knowledge has been kept. Most of things that the world does not know about Africa is kept in the wisdom, in the proverbs, in the stories. How do you feel that we should leverage these social audio platforms to change the narrative about Africa?
That is a wonderful question, because you are absolutely correct. I believe that it could be leveraged in terms of a form of education, because just like what we're doing here, even though it's very, a positive environment, is very nice, and it's not, it's like kind of general conversation that we're having here, it's still a place of education. It's still a place where people can share stories. And I believe that we can actually use that as an educational tool and leverage it educationally, because like you said, our people never learned through, even though we do. I mean, obviously, I have a great appreciation for books, but a lot of people don't. So we are a people that learn things through doing and through seeing and through hearing, just like you said, through stories. So I believe that this would be a great platform for us to leverage educationally, because that is what our people are looking for. They're looking to hear, to see, to touch, feel. We like to use our senses, not necessarily use, books and that kind of form of education. And we have to be able to accept that everybody doesn't learn the same.
True. I feel that, things like podcasting are going to be amazing platforms for poets like you, and of course, we have so many storytellers who don't even speak English. They don't even speak Kiswahili, which is, for example, me coming from Kenya, we have a national language that came about as a result of trade and also partly colonization, but just interaction of people from outside the continent, like the Arabs, as well as the Europeans, and also Africans, especially along the coast, who are very, very involved with trade across the continent. So there are people that are amazing poets. There are people that are like custodians of the culture, but they are not, nobody knows about it. So I'm always imagining having conversations in the village, and bringing it to platforms like this, and really bringing a different side of Africa that people always ignore. People don't want to hear the depth of what Africa has to offer. So I just want to take this opportunity to thank you again, Lexi, for taking the time to join us for today's session. And I want to, open the floor now for Bibi and Teoti and Tutaleni to also share with us the interpretation of today's proverb, but also if they have any comments to you, I would really love them to share it as well. Especially encouraging comments based on the stories that you had about Lexi. And also if you have a question, that's also fine. Bibi has been an amazing supporter of this daily African proverbs, and we've connected on Instagram as well. We basically build community through this process of just being together and discussing Proverbs every day. And Bibi says that happiness is an inside job. Don't assign anyone else that much power over you. Bibi, share with us your interpretation of today's proverb from Mozambique that says the bee is the doctor of flowers. And then feel free to share any comments to Lexi. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Simon. And yes, Lexi, about the boys not crying, I was like, oh no, I'm raising a boy myself. He's 14, and ever since he's been little, I've always changed the narrative with him. And he's very, I'm raising him to be able to speak his truth, but at the same time, cry if he needs to cry, because tears are good. Tears washes away all the anger you hold inside, or all the hatred you hold inside as well. So yes, I decided to raise him completely different from how African boys have been raised, and I don't whoop him anymore because I decided to be a conscious parent with him, especially after having my two little girls. These girls are completely different as well, and in that sense, I just decided to do the opposite of how I grew up as well. So being a conscious parent, I feel works so much better for me and for my children as well. And that way, it also brings us closer to each other, and they're able to tell me pretty much anything that bothers them and also what doesn't bother them. So it's like it opens up the doors to communication when you consciously parent your children. So that's my take, and thank you for bringing that up. As far as today's interpretation, Simon, oh my goodness. The bee is a doctor to flowers. This one has got me because um, for some reason I'm just stuck, like literally stuck. So I'll just have to sit on this one and just listen to what everybody has to say and be a student today. And with that, I am done. Thank you so much, Simon.
Thank you so much, baby. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for your humility as well. You know, these proverbs are also things that you don't have to have an answer to. So thank you again. I want to quickly introduce Teoti so that Teoti can also share with us his interpretation of today's proverb, and also any comments that he has for Lexi Malone, who is our special guest today. Teoti is a student of wisdom, history. He's also a history student, Kemetic student, student of art, indigenous Ta Amaru Khan Aborigine. Wow, thank you so much. Share with us your interpretation of this amazing proverb from Mozambique. Oh, by the way, for you who are on Clubhouse, we are also joined by people in Mozambique on YouTube who are chatting with us and engaging with us over there. And this is now the beauty of being able to live stream this conversation on YouTube at the same time while it's happening on Clubhouse. So if you're just joining us, we are live streaming this Daily African Proverb so that our community members who are not on Clubhouse and don't want to be on Clubhouse can also have access to this conversation in real time. Thank you again, Teoti. The microphone is now yours.
Thank you, Simon. Appreciate your platform and the beautiful proverbs you present every day. I've been really enjoying this since I joined probably a week ago. And thank you also, Lexi, for your words of encouragement and wisdom. Very excellent. My interpretation of B as the doctor of the flowers, it comes from my perspective, it comes from what I learned in the wisdom of our ancient ancestors, and that was on rulership and kingship. The bee is often a symbol of royalty. And it teaches in the human world that when you work with your people and you're in a position of power, or whether you're just not in a position of power, it doesn't matter. The function and the purpose of how you work with people should be the same way bees work with flowers. We should be the doctors to the people, as well as the bee is the doctor to the flower. The bees only take the essence of what the flower gives freely, and the bee never overtakes. The bee doesn't take too much from a flower, and it uses the essence of the flower to produce honey, which feeds the bee colony. But in doing so, it never brings harm to the flower. It only brings fertility, and it causes the flower to thrive and to reproduce by pollinating the flower. So they have a symbiotic relationship, and the bee has the function for the flower to cause it to thrive. And so, in the same sense, we should deal with each other and people in the same manner, that the things we take from people should only be what they're offering that nourishes, while not harming the people that we're taking from, and also providing them with the things that will help them become more productive and fertile in their own lives. And so that's my interpretation of that proverb.
Wow, Teoti, that was really, really deep. I think Lexi has just a quick comment about everything you just said, and then we'll continue on and introduce my brother Tutaleni. Thank you so much, Teoti. And I'll be moving you all who have shared with us to the audience in just a moment. We do that so that we can just continue with the format of the Daily African Proverbs. We do it in good faith. Lexi, the mic is yours.
Thank you. Yes, Bibi and Tahuti. I'm loving what you guys have shared so far. Tahuti, first of all, I'm loving your name, Tahuti Heru. I love it. Love it. I'm a historian by nature. I do some history searching, but what you have said and the spin that you just put on that about royalty and just expressing that through unity, I love it. You blew me away because I'm like, wow, to look at that from a standpoint of unity, because that's actually what I believe that my true purpose is to unite. So for you to say that and for you to put that edge on there of unity, it did. It woke something up in me. I'm like, wow, thank you. Thank you. I'm grateful for that perspective. And see, that's why we need each other in unity, because look at the perspective Tahuti just came with. Unity. I seen purpose. He seen unity. Now I see what Tahuti sees, and he sees what Lexi sees. And now we want to see what Simon sees, and we see what BB sees. We want to see what Dr. Wanda and Yevnar. I mean, we all have a different perspective on life and can come with something different. So now that he's spoken, I'm like, yeah, I'm with that. I love unity. And that's exactly what everything boils down to, bringing together our best so that we can produce the best. And that's what I got from that. Wow, thank you. I love it.
Wow, thank you so much. This is why I love being here in the Daily African Proverbs, because it's not food that you eat, but it's food that fills your soul, and allows you to thrive. It's knowledge and wisdom, and really, these are some of the things I hear in this room. I also hear them later on when I encounter situations that they could help me overcome, even during negotiations, even with my kids, So this room is like it's like going into a library and scouring through books, and then going and sharing that knowledge. So I hope that that's how all of you feel as well. I do want to welcome Ivnia, who is a great brother and contributor to the Daily African Proverbs, and also an author of Alike Regardless, which is a book we recently reviewed and explored, and he was able to read some of the excerpts from the book in the African Wisdom Club. But he was with us on YouTube. He came on Clubhouse, and he's been co-hosting also the recap of this conversation on Instagram. He co-hosted yesterday. We're building really a strong community of people who are really committed to helping change the narrative about Africa. One proverb at a time. So Joanne, who is in the audience, has also been really, really supportive. Samantha, Tara. In this room alone, there are some of the most amazing people that have made this Daily African Proverbs possible. I definitely cannot pull this off on my own. And every week, every day, there's a different challenge, but we've always overcome it because of how strong of a community we are building. So now I want to actually invite Ivnia to introduce my brother Tutaleni just briefly, and then Dr. Wanda. But Tutaleni is really, really an important person, I would say in my life right now. He's someone I look up to. I look at some of the things he's doing, and I know that, okay, I think I could do a similar thing, better because of how he did this. Ivnia, I'll pass you the mic.
Thank you, Brother Simon. It's an honor to be here. Lexi, good morning. It was really great uh, listening to you this morning, and I love what you shared about uh, you are the doctor of your dreams, of your passion, and that resonated with me so much. And it made me think about this quote: the best way to predict the future is to create it. And because you're the doctor of your dreams, of your passion, it's up to you every day to make a decision, to choose to work on your dreams and to work on your passion. So I thought uh, this this poem that you recited this morning, and I was on YouTube, was awesome, was great. So keep writing, and keep inspiring people wherever you go. And I believe your this is your passion, and this is what you were born to do. So keep doing it. And we're going to introduce our next speaker, Tutalini. Tutalini is a researcher, a designer, and educator. And I see a quote I'd like to read from his bio. In the world through which I travel, I am endlessly creating myself. Wow. And that is also aligned to what I just said and to what Lexi said this morning about being the doctor of your dream, the doctor of your purpose. So, Tutalini, please share with us this morning your interpretation of today's proverb about the bee is the doctor of flowers. The mic is yours.
Thank you, Vanna, for the introduction, and greetings everybody in the room. Brother Simon, always great to have you in our company. I saw you in our Indigenous Knowledge and Traditional Knowledge room yesterday in the Namibia House Club. So always happy to have you support us. And Lexi, thank you so much for being here and sharing your story and your perspectives. Your sounds like you have really found your passion and your calling and an area in which you would like to, which you are a doctor in. So this is really also fitting for the proverb. What I'm thinking about when I hear this proverb is I'm just curious as to whether or not the bee always knew what it had to do. That's really what comes to my mind. Does the bee always know what it is destined to do, or does it have to scour the forest, the world, and maybe pollinate cactus, other trees and attempt to do all of these other things. So we all know that the bee's relationship to flowers for because of pollination, but I'm wondering how easy that was for the bee to figure out. And for me, the proverb does really show that we all have a purpose, we all have a calling, and there's a certain interconnectedness in our world. But it takes some time, an incredibly long time, to figure out what your purpose is, to figure out what you are supposed to be a doctor of. So for me, that's sort of what I'm thinking about. And I'm always admire people who can articulate fully and clearly what their purpose is. And for me, each day, as my quote says, I'm endlessly recreating myself. It seems like each day I'm trying to either refocus and recenter for that purpose, or trying to question whether or not that purpose is really what I'm meant to be, because it's an iterative process. So I have a certain envy to the bee that has figured out that it's a doctor of the flowers. But I do know that many of us have to take a longer time to figure out which flower we are meant for. I'm Tudor, I'm done speaking.
This is Simon speaking. Thank you so much, Tutaleni. I think Evening is probably speaking. He has probably not unmuted himself yet.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. And I kept talking. Oh my goodness, I'm on mute. Thank you, Brother Tseleni. That was great. Ad. When it comes to purpose, we all do have a purpose, and it's very dangerous when we don't know what our purposes are in life. Because if we don't know what our purpose is basically we don't have a place to go. So I like what you shared about that. As we're going to move on, we're going to introduce Dr. Wanda, who's a web designer, a scientist, a fashion designer, editor, and proofreader. Dr. Wanda, please share with us your interpretation of today's proverb. The mic is yours.
Good morning. Good morning. It's always a delight to come into this room. First of all, because we have a very peaceful vibration in this room. It's very peaceful. We're very calm and we're very sharing. That's why I love coming here. So the bee is the doctor to the flower. When I first heard the proverb, I thought maybe it was stating the bee is the daughter of the flower. And I was like, oh, okay, I can see that. The bee gets the nectar from the flower, take it back to the hive and make honey. So absolutely, the bee is the daughter of the flower. But that's not what the proverb said. The proverb said the bee is the doctor of the flower. And I immediately thought back to the time when doctors made house calls and they went around to each house checking on the person. And African Americans, we always say, please come see about me. Check on me. Check on your neighbors. Check on your friends. Check on your family. You haven't heard from them in a little while, go check on them. See how they're doing. Because oftentimes when people are hurting, they're not going to be reaching out when people have a need. Because sometimes we tell that to people all the time, oh, if you need anything, let me know. But often when people really, really need things, they can't even talk. They can't even speak. They can't articulate it. Then that's why, as a friend or a doctor, you might pop in for a visit and see with your own eyes what the person actually needs. And that's kind of what the bee is doing. It's going from flower to flower and just kind of like visiting. And that's my interpretation, and I'm complete.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wanda. That was really good interpretation. Simon, I will now pass the mic back to you.
Thank you, Ivna. I am grateful for your leadership, and also I'm grateful for your presence. We will be doing an Instagram recap after this room, where we will learn what stood out, we will learn what was surprising, and also what was the biggest lesson from today. That's going to be like a 15-minute conversation. I want to now welcome Lexi to just share with us, your closing comments from today's conversation. You've been with me here for about 1 hour now, and before we wrap up, I just want to, ask you to share with us anything that I haven't asked you, and also let everyone in the room know how they can connect with you, how they can support your work, and then we close the room after that and go on Instagram and do the recap. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And thank you again, Simon, for providing me with this opportunity. And I definitely want to thank all of the speakers. Dr. Wanda, that was beautiful. Everyone who speaks has a different perspective and a different twist that might wake something up in other people. Some people may not get the interpretation that others have said and maybe like, I don't understand that way. But that's why it's important to have a unity of perspectives, because we all have God-given gifts. I love that. I loved everybody's perspective and how we are able to just, help people to realize, help people to wake up. It takes different things to wake everyone up. So that's what we can use platforms like this for, is to just wake everyone up. I just want to take a quick moment because I am looking at all of the comments that people are saying. Thank you so much for all the compliments about my smile and my poem. I definitely want to let you know that I see you. I'm the kind of person that if all of you notice, I'm following everybody in this room, because that's the kind of person I am. I don't need you to follow me, because anybody who ever becomes a leader once was a follower, baby. Once was a follower. You got to follow someone to get to learn how you can lead. And that's what I do. I just follows everybody, just because you never know. Hitting a follow might wake something up in somebody and say, hey, she noticed me, not knowing that I notice everybody, and I clap for everybody. If you notice, after everybody speaks, I'm putting my hands together, because that's what the world needs. Everybody needs to know that they are important. Everybody is important. Everybody is important. And that's just something I want to just stand on and finish on. Thank you, Simon. Thank you, Evener. I love you guys. I love everybody in this room. And I just like to pass around the positivity and just keep those smiles on your face. Know that the world is what we think it is. It's what we create. It's what we make it. So make in this world, be the change you want to see. If you want different, be different. Sometimes life takes you through things where you feel like you have to make some changes with who you are, and that's fine. Make them and just feel good while you make them. Because if it doesn't feel good, then I wouldn't make a change if it didn't feel good. I mean, stuff that feels uncomfortable. You going from bad to good, because I used to be a little bad girl. So I know what it means to go from bad to good, in a sense. So that's what we got to do sometimes, and change is good. I love this. I love this, Simon. I'm so glad you invited me. This was beautiful. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in.
Well, come back again. This is your space. Come back again, and I can't wait for us to do our next collaboration again. But even I just want to let you also share, just in brief, your closing comments before we end our conversation today. And I really, really want to thank all of our amazing, audience members on Clubhouse, and also viewers on YouTube right now. If you're on Clubhouse, please make sure you're following the African Father in America Club. It's the green icon at the very top of your phone. And if you are already a member of the club, I would love for you to invite other people into the club, because we will be having a lot more conversations there. And, we are also running other clubs. For example, the African Wisdom Club, where every Friday at 8:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we even go deeper with our amazing guests, similar to Lexi. And then we have the Africa Day Club, where we annually hold Africa Day, and we are about to start rolling out other programs there as well. And then we have the One Vibe Africa Club, where we will be hosting, conversations about traveling to Africa, tourism in Africa. I've been, taking groups to Africa for years now, and I want to continue doing that, but we really want to build a community around it. So if you're interested in that, let me know.
I'm interested.
That's great. We'll talk about it then. But really, if you're on YouTube, I also want to encourage you to subscribe to my channel and, like this video and share it, and comment if you feel moved by today's conversation. Thank you again. And Ivna, I'll give you the honor.
Thank you, Brother Simon. It's an honor to share with you guys. Today's conversation, the bee is the doctor of flowers. First of all, Lexi, thank you. And I heard you a few times, but this morning you really inspired me with your poems and with the way you describe purpose and how people have purpose and the relationship that you made between us human being and our purpose and our dreams and our goals. And I like how you put it together. And I also like how you talk about smile. And smile is something that a lot of people don't understand. If you smile, not only you bring joy and happiness to yourself, but you also help other people. A smile doesn't cost you anything, but can bring so much. Can bring, can, because it's so contagious, can help other people smile. And as this morning, as you were speaking, I was smiling, and there was no one here, just my cat, and who was here, but I was smiling because the smile that you bring, people can see it, even if they cannot see you, but they can see the smile on your face. And lastly, what I want to say, this room, the Daily African Proverb, the African Father in America, when I look at the relationship between the flower and bee, this is what we have going on here. This room has been the bee, and we have been the flowers, because everyone is depositing something. Everyone is pollinating each other, is depositing something in each other that can make us better, more powerful, doing, becoming the best version of ourselves. And when we share wisdom with each other, we make this world better. We learn to live according to our purpose, to our goals, to our dreams and aspirations. So, Brother Simon, thank you for creating this room. And I always say this is a morning breakfast. We need food, but we also need wisdom for our soul, for our hearts. So, thank you so much, everyone. And I pass the mic to you, Brother Simon. And thank you again, Lexi, for sharing with us today from your heart. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
Yes.
much, Ivna. And thank you all. We'll see you in the Instagram recap. Hopefully, Lexi and Ivna will join us there as well. I'm so grateful. Have a beautiful day. Take good care of yourselves. Thank you so much. Peace and love.
African father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Africa, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javanokelo, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.
Thank you so